Alright everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Columbus Picker here, and today is going to be another What Sold video. But before we get started, if you could consider giving this video a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. So like I said, today's video is going to be another What Sold video. I have 14 items that have sold, just sort of selected them over the last couple weeks. And yeah, it's been a pretty good couple weeks of sales. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. First item up is going to be this Behringer Euro Power. It's a PMX 2000. It's a PA DJ powered mixer. It sold for $175, and I did pay $86 for it at an online auction. Sold actually surprisingly sold pretty quickly. I had it sitting around and hadn't listed it, and when I finally got around to listing it, it probably sold within 2 weeks. It is probably the heaviest item that I've ever shipped out of my store. Total weight, I think, was somewhere around 35 to 40 pounds. So, like I said, the buyer did pay shipping on that, and if I remember correctly, it went out FedEx. So, um, definitely prefer shipping out the smaller items, but if I can get something like that, definitely worth shipping it. So, next up is a Judi Dench 8-disc collection. This sold for $13. I did offer free shipping on it, and I paid 50 cents for it at the Amazon bin store. And it actually sold surprisingly quickly. I purchased it just because it was a complete set. I figured it might set in the store for a bit, but I think it sold probably within 2 weeks, so I was definitely surprised by that. Next up is a vintage Kenner Easy Show projector. It sold for $40 plus shipping, and I had roughly $8.62 into the item, and I purchased it at an online auction. And it actually sold pretty quickly as well. I think it was probably in the store for less than a month, so definitely happy with that sell. Next up is a realistic programmable scanner. This sold for $43, and the buyer did pay shipping. And I had $9 invested into it. Picked it up once again at an online auction, and that one sat in the store for probably about 6 weeks. So, not bad, and it was definitely worth picking up. And the scanners are not that difficult to ship. So, next up is a book that I picked up. It's How to Modify Guitar Pedals. This book sold for $46, and the buyer did pay shipping, and I purchased it for $1 at an Amazon bin store. And it's surprisingly another one that sold pretty quickly. I think it was probably in the store for about 2 weeks. Next up, I have a 1 and 3/16 inch deep socket. It was a 12-point snap-on. It sold for $26 plus shipping, and I had about $9 for it. I picked up a bunch of these at a rummage sale at the end of summer, and I expected that they were going to set for a while. But I've been selling probably one or two of them each month, and I still have quite a few left, and I'm already in the profit for the purchase that I made. So, definitely happy to have that in the store. And like I said, they continue to sell. It's just a little bit of a slower sell. Next up is a piece of vintage Tupperware with the lid. It sold for $22 plus shipping, and I had $1 invested into it. This piece I picked up again at an online auction, and I was surprised. This is another one. I thought that when I picked them up that it might set for a bit, but this one I listed it, and within I think a week it was sold. So, and I picked up a bunch of it at that time, and so I have quite a few other pieces. There again, they don't take a ton of room to store, and they're not hard to ship when they do finally sell. Next up, I have a Govi Smart Thermo Hygrometer. This item sold for $19.50, and the buyer paid shipping, and I had $4.25 invested into it. I picked it up at the Goodwill, and it's actually been in the store for a while. I'm not sure exactly, but that's one that took a bit to sell. So next up, I have another piece of Tupperware. This was a lot of two vintage. It's they're called divided picnic lunch trays. It sold for $19 plus shipping, and I had $1.75 into these. I picked them up at a garage sale actually. And the next item up, this is my one textbook for the video. This one is Stahl's Essential Psychopharmacology. It sold for $60 plus shipping. I believe I have $2 invested into it. I picked it up at the Amazon bin store. If you watched my previous video on my thrifting video, this is one of the ones that I picked up. It only sat in the store for maybe 7 to 10 days. So definitely a great find there. Like I said, anytime I can come across textbooks and pick them up for a couple dollars, I definitely will. The big thing is, as I mentioned before, you just need to make sure that you're comping out the textbooks, because if it's an older edition, chances are it may not sell. So I always make sure I comp them out before I purchase them. And next up is sort of the title of this video. So I picked up a couple of vintage lunchboxes. And when I say vintage, the one I'm going to mention here in a second was a 1965 lunchbox. I picked them up at an online auction. The first one up is a vintage 1965 Munster's lunchbox with the thermos. And the second item is a vintage 1979 Universal Monsters lunchbox, also with the thermos. The two lunchboxes together, they did not sell to the same buyer, but for the purposes of this video, I went ahead and just combined them together. So the two together sold for close to $850, plus the buyers did pay shipping on both of them. I did pay up for both of the items, but still managed to make over 100% profit on the two lunch boxes. And as I mentioned before, I picked them up at online auction, and the two lunch boxes total probably set about 2 months. And to be honest with you, I was very happy with the amount of money that I did get for the both of them. But if the 1965 Munsters lunchbox had been in slightly better shape, I probably could have gotten another $200 to $300 just on that lunchbox alone. So I'm not saying you're going to find these very often, but I'd done some research, so I knew they were worth a decent amount of money. But if you ever happen to come across them, I would definitely suggest picking them up, because they are worth a lot of money, and they will sell pretty quickly. So next up, I have a Taylor Marine compass. This was actually a vintage, like 1950s compass. Very cool piece that I picked up. It sold for $25 plus the buyer paid shipping. I had $3.45 invested into it, and I picked it up at an online auction. It actually sat for a bit. It's probably been in the store for 6 to 8 months. And the last item is going to be a CD. It's Too Late, The Hero by John Entwistle. I was really surprised when I scanned this to find out how much it was worth. It sold for $46 plus shipping, and like most of my CDs, I had 64 cents invested into it. So there you go. There's just, like I said, a sampling of items that have sold for me over the last couple of weeks. If you made it this far, I want to thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this type of content, please let me know by giving this video a big thumbs up. I would definitely appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would definitely help the channel growth out a lot. So once again, my name is Columbus Picker. I do appreciate everyone who's watching these videos, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Goodbye.